Hi, I'm Max, the founder of Love Wins campaign, and I'm here to tell you about my mission to help stop gay suicides. I'm asking you to help raise awareness about this terrible suicide problem. 44% of gay youth have considered suicide. Here's how you can help to stop this. The time has come to open a new chapter for the gay rights movement by using the power of sports. Nelson Mandela said, "Sport can create hope where once there was only despair. It is more powerful than governments in breaking down racial barriers. It laughs in the face of all types of discrimination." Wikipedia states about the first player, Jackie Robinson, who was black in American baseball. He contributed significantly to the civil rights movement. Now, if we look at the coming outs of gay sportsmen and women, we always see a huge media response and articles in almost every newspaper. For example, Justin Fashanu was the first professional footballer in Britain to come out and continued playing in 1990, before he took his own life 8 years later, aged 37, in 1998. Anton Hüsen, fourth league player, son of former Liverpool defender Glenn Hüsen, came out in an interview with the Swedish football magazine in 2011. German first league player and midfielder Thomas Hitzelsberger announced he was gay in January 2013. Former Leeds and US winger Robbie Rogers came out as gay and quit English football in February 2013. Why did they all come out in spite of the risks? I'm here to tell you that. And do you know about these injustices about gay youth? Well, I didn't know, but the more I found out, the more angry I got. That's why I developed a plan to fight those problems, and that's what this video is about. 44% of young LGBT people have considered suicide. Gay youth are 400% more likely to try to commit suicide than heterosexuals and are 4 times more likely to have serious injuries after an attempt. 22% of parents are not accepting their gay kids, and 3% even kick their kids out of their home for what they are. 90% of gays suffered minor physical assaults, and 6% suffered serious physical assaults because of their sexual orientation. Gay youth having even worse numbers. Gays are 54% less likely to be in a relationship than heterosexuals. After all that, it's not surprising to say that gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender youth are 50% less likely to say they are happy than heterosexuals. If you suffer from any of these problems and need help, please check out the links at the end of my Patreon page. But here comes the main point of this video. Only 5% of the population say a lot more should be done for homosexuals, while 71% say there should be less done or even nothing. That's a huge problem. Our allies don't know about these unjust problems, and so they don't care. I've created this video to raise awareness inside and outside our community about what the only solution to these problems is. After this introduction, I'm going to tell you about 2 alarming statistics from Germany and France that show us things will get worse if we don't act now to this new right-wing atmosphere across Europe and the USA. Then I will reveal to you my solution you never heard before to fight these problems. It's the most effective solution, and you will find out what you can do and how you will benefit from this. But why is this so unjust and important to act upon? Well, tell me another minority where so many have considered suicide and are kicked out of the home of their own parents. Tell me another minority where so many are stopped from finding true love and happiness in their relationships. There are none. Many think this is second or even third-class citizenship, but I oppose that view. I believe the moment when we stand up together as a community and fight for our rights, and the moment where we stop to take just all this injustice and suffering for granted, is the exact moment where we are not second-class citizens anymore and become first-class citizens. We must combine our powers through platforms like this campaign. If we fight alone, we have no chance. Young members of our community are constantly given 2 unfair choices. 1. Feeling disrespected and mobbed from classmates and hiding in fear of rejection. Or 2. Coming out and risking that some of their worst fears could come reality. Many LGBT suffer deep depression from these unfair choices, which leads them to think about needlessly taking their life. Please realize there's a big cost to not dealing with this. If there are more people spreading homophobia than fighting it. For example, in France, the public acceptance of homosexuality dropped by 6 percentage points from 2007 to 2013. And more Germans feel disgusted when gays kiss in public. This figure has increased by even 43%. See end of my Patreon page for the source. All this has to stop, and all this shows again, if we as a community just sit back and do nothing, things will get even worse. And that's why I'm asking for your support as my Patreon today. I personally experienced gay discrimination and hate, just like so many other gay youth. Suppressing your homosexuality because of the fear that when it gets out, the rumor would spread and others will mob you and expel you because of that knowledge. The inner coming out. I know what that feels like. It's that fearful moment where you lie or hide to cover your real self. The rejection you feel when somebody uses the word gay as an insult and everybody just laughs or shrugs their shoulders. Close friends or people whom you thought were your friends abandon you after you come out. They avoid you even though they say, your coming out has nothing to do with this. Like many of us, I know how all that feels like, and that's why I'm in this for very personal reasons. Will we accept these two unfair choices they give us, either to stay in the closet in fear or come out to face the risk of direct discrimination? Can we just sit back and ignore what's happening to our young community members who are suffering the most? If we don't stand up for our gay youth, if we don't stand up for us, nobody will. And the only solution that changes everything is we have to create solidarity to fight gay discrimination at the source. As long as we allow that 95% don't do anything, we will get discriminated against. Our discrimination problems will not magically disappear. But honestly, how can we blame heterosexuals for not standing up for us when we don't do it even stronger in the first place? This very weak support means we have to do much more to create support from our straight allies. This won't happen by itself. Straight solidarity means this difference between some jerks making jokes about you and you leaving the group or feeling accepted and welcomed because everybody knows those insights will not be tolerated. Straight support means a vaccine against spreading homophobic opinions. Straight support means teachers standing up for our gay youth so they can live happy growing up instead of hiding in fear, being bullied or feeling suicidal. Straight support means the right parties at power to create teaching content and other laws to protect our gay youth, instead anti-gay laws ruining our progress. Straight support means when you come out to your friends, family, in school or at work, that you will be welcomed, loved and protected for who you are. It means the gay bully having fear to come out against you and your allies. It means the gay bully living in isolation, instead you living in isolation fearing the bully. Straight support changes everything. Straight solidarity is the only solution, or we will always be alone, pushed around and outnumbered 5-1 by 25% of douchebags out there and the rest just standing by, shrugging their shoulders. I want you to understand, this is the real problem, and the solution is we can only win straight support when we find the best way to raise their awareness about all the problems I told you about, because they just don't know. And here's how creating solidarity through awareness works. During my research, I looked at many alternatives to learn from past evidence. That's always a good idea. I learned how to create maximum and massive impact on mass media. Impact to raise maximum awareness and support from straight allies. Because that's what we need. Specifically, I looked at which people were even allowed to speak about gay rights. It were very few, very specific types of people. Normal people were not allowed to speak. This is important. I found out that gay soccer players had by far the highest impact on mass media, while other alternatives had very little impact. This makes sense because, as I said earlier, in both the civil rights movement to end racism in the USA and the movement to end racism in South Africa, sports had an important role to play. Players like Thomas Hitzelsberger or Anton Huysen created a massive mass media interest, and I will now show you the proof why this is the way to go. In detail, the coming out of Anton Huysen in the fourth league in 2011 is very exciting, because he caused a total of 212 articles published in just the 30 days following his outing. There are 90 daily newspapers in Sweden, so this makes an average of around 2 widely publicized articles in every Swedish newspaper nationwide. That's huge. And I got this data reliably through an online press archive. With my plan, we just can do the same thing in Germany, so we can expect to receive 2 articles in every newspaper. And because Germany has 60 million newspapers printed every day, double that amount to get to 2 articles, and we can estimate 33 million articles printed about in the first month. You see, this is just an estimation, but it shows us where we have the very best chances. Even a much lower number, a number that is hopeless to reach everywhere else, that number would still mean a huge impact. That means a high security of choosing the right way. That's an impact that can influence a whole society, and also the German-speaking countries Austria and Switzerland. The year after his coming out, he got a total of 631 articles with his name. And the year after that, 1,319 articles. We can take this as a clue that the media impact of a coming out lasts for years, not for months. If you still question the power of sports Nelson Mandela and the civil rights movement in the USA used, if you still question the massive and proven mass media impact of Thomas Hitzelsberger and Anton Hüsen, you can have a look at the frequent asked questions 5 and 7 on my Patreon page to get additional convincing info. For everybody else, let's move on. And that would only be the start. With the publicity would come even more financial support for this campaign to enter the second stage. With these additional resources, Lawwin's campaign will shape how sports, music and science look at homosexuality, and change in these critical areas will promote worldwide acceptance and equality. These 2 additional areas also serve as a backup plan if I am more than 1 year behind my soccer goals. You can see them at frequent asked questions number 2. If I don't meet these goals, that would be a battle lost, but not the war, and the resources of this campaign would be spent towards the backup areas. This is great because with this backup, our success is not dependent on one single project. You see, our risk that all 3 goals will be not successful are very small, while our estimated impact in these fields is very high. Read more about risks and challenges of this campaign at frequent asked question number 4 on my Patreon page. The main impact of this second stage will be worldwide, especially on Europe and the English-speaking countries like Great Britain, the United States, and everybody else who understands English. And that's why this is in English, because this campaign is focused on worldwide equality and change everybody will profit from. And I hope you can bear with my English, because I'm not a native speaker. That's why we as human rights activists have to invest some time and money to make the public interested in what we want to talk about, which is our rights, or we will have no chance to bring massive change. You already know the truth about how popular those coming out as gay player articles in magazines and newspapers are. Then, once I am known to the public, I can speak for years and years about gay rights topics to fight gay discrimination. Now that I've explained why this solution would work, here's what I'm asking you to help me do. So this is a plan supported by statistical evidence. I'd like to ask you to help me fund my training as a gay professional soccer player and my plan to come out and create massive awareness and solidarity for us everywhere. Our impact on gay, bisexual and transgender rights will, over the years, be far greater than 33 million newspaper readers during the first month, which we know from our research alone has a huge and instant effect. This was just a month. Add to that the long-term impact over the years. I need patrons like you to support my soccer training so I can become a professional soccer player, so people in the media would be interested in and listen to what I have to say. And it's not that hard, because professional soccer player means 4th league or higher, like Anton Hüsen showed us. The coming out is planned at the end of the 2020-2021 soccer season or the following season. It's like investing in someone's job education. My becoming a professional soccer player is like a university degree for someone like me who wants to actively speak out about gay rights. I've included my training schedule and training goals under the video for your reference if you'd like to find out more details about my training. But that's not all impact you get by supporting me. There are 3 additional short-term goals that help promote change right now. The most important being this video itself, providing help raising awareness and pointing out solutions to organize our community. So please share. You can read more about this in the frequent asked question number 4. By supporting me, you receive Patreon exclusive access to my diary progress updates by text, videos and photos about my exciting training to become a well-known soccer player and shake society up. So it's like a real-life documentary of something big only you can make possible. Here are the 3 funding goals I feel I would need to achieve this goal. Supporting my first goal would be an investment in gay rights at a cost of $260 a week. With all funds of that first goal, you help me to afford 3 personal trainers a week, which cost $57 per hour to ensure my success. With trainers who have spent years preparing, teaching and gathering knowledge, increasing speed and improving my technique, of course, will happen much quicker than learning by doing. Please look at the Go sections on my Patreon page to see a full explanation of all costs and read additional info why personal trainers are so critically important for our success. But with the first goal reached, I only can train part-time for this important cause, because I will have to work to cover my living costs, obviously. But only part-time training would mean an unnecessary risk of failure, and that's why my second goal covers half of and my third goal covers all my living costs. With these goals, you free up more time for training as I have to work less. And when I train full-time, 11 times a week, I really can crush the competition to push our success probability to the max. So this is very important. And the higher our chance of success, the more exciting it will be for you to follow my progress as a patron. And this means more exciting diary progress updates through pictures, video and text for you. I'm asking you to become my patron today. At the right, you see the rewards for your support. The higher your level of support, the more diary progress updates you will receive and the more impact you have. Just choose a reward with as much exciting updates and gay rights support you feel good about now. Why I and you should start this now and why it's not for myself. So who am I and why should you pledge to me? I'm in the first half of my 20s as I'm founding Lawwin's campaign. I already have a bachelor's degree from university, and I would make a much better living and be less stressed by working in my field. During my studies, I thought a lot about gay rights and began this project, but only trained part-time. And I wanted to keep only training part-time for some years, so I can show you more results in sports. But then this happened to me. A gay friend of mine tried to commit suicide. And that's why I'm in this for very personal reasons. I'm in this because I decided I can't take the risk any longer to only focus part-time on this important matter. Because I believe without your support and your motivation, I will fail and can do nothing to prevent tragedies like this from happening again. That's why I'm starting this campaign right now. And I know if this campaign prevents at least one gay youth suicide, this will be worth all the effort. If we want to solve these problems, we have to combine our resources and all work together towards one big goal that everybody will profit from. I'm sure after watching this far, you will agree this is a good cause you can stand behind and support. All I ask is, could you please spare a few euros or dollars a week and pick a reward on the right of my Patreon page to help us both realize this dream? The past gay generations took a lot of suffering to make progress for us. They stood up for our rights. Only because of their suffering, we can stand up now. And you can pay it forward now. You can dedicate your contribution to a person you care about or to the weakest in our community who need our help to stop discrimination like being kicked out from parents or bullied in school for being gay. You can pay it forward to future happy LGBT generations who will look back upon our achievements. And you get much more than you pay for. You can be proud and say, I am part of that incredible story that we write together. through the ages, progress always came from a handful of people who saw injustice and acted before anybody else. Look at the end of slavery, look at the spread of democracy, look at the social movements against racism and to free women. Although we don't know what the future holds, by joining, you are an important part of that incredible bigger story, humanity's struggle for progress and justice for all. What's the value of finding our true love, holding hands, walking down the street without fear? What's the value of always being welcomed by our surrounding for who we are? What's the value of finding new friends without fear of coming out? What's the value of preventing gay youth suicide? All this is priceless. And that's what you're fighting for by joining this campaign. Because I believe this society can rise up to a higher standard of human dignity where nobody has to suffer or is treated like a second-class citizen for who they love. Let's get the attention and straight support to help stop gay youth suicide and to tell every homophobe loud and clear, stop giving us unfair choices, we just want equal rights. Now is your time to step into this community. Here's what I ask you to do now. Please share this video anywhere to raise awareness. And even more important, please pick a reward on the right. Your weekly contribution can be $2.50 a week or any amount as much as you feel good about being part of a bigger story. If you are on YouTube, click on the link in the video description below to get to my Patreon page. And I will update you regularly on the progress diary on every awesome step of my journey to speak out for gay rights, for our youth in need, for me and for you. Just choose a reward from the right to join this campaign right now to fight against the discrimination of our gay youth. It would mean so much to me. Thanks and take care.